may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Alright guys, the last video, y'all absolutely destroyed. I mean, we got so close to 100 likes within like 4 or 5 hours from the video. That has never happened before, so I owe everyone a massive thank you for continuing on the support. I mean, if y'all just go through YouTube, you can tell that pretty much the fantasy basketball traffic is slowing down. Like, a lot of people are out of their leagues, a lot of people have lost interest, yet for whatever reason, the people in the flock, they have continued to grind on. Y'all have continued to support the hell out of this channel, way more than other channels and their listeners. And I'm assuming maybe that's because more of y'all are still on the track to making your fantasy playoffs. I don't know why, so what I'm going to ask from y'all is I'm going to ask you to go down to the comment section and be completely honest. I don't only want the people down there who have extremely nice records where they only have maybe 1 or 2 losses. I need everybody down in the comment section, regardless of maybe you only have 2 or 3 wins so far this season. Please let me know your record. If you're in multiple leagues, just let me know your record in your favorite league. That way I can kind of gauge how everyone in the flock is doing in their fantasy basketball leagues. And if this is your first time stumbling across this channel, stay out of the comment section. I don't want to see your record. Mainly just for everybody that's in the flock. And if you're watching this as a premiere right now, if you are a part of #notification gang and we are chatting in the live chat, make sure you all just go spam it in the chat. Let me know what your record is and we can talk about it. We can talk about who you have on your team. And yeah, also, if y'all are watching this as a premiere, you know, shoot me any questions. #premiergang, #notification gang. But anyway, let's get into this video, and what I want to do is I want to go through and talk about 4 or 5 players that I think we should be targeting as trade targets in our fantasy basketball leagues. And no, these are not going to be buy lows. If anything, these are buy highs. Guys that have completely transformed the way they've been playing over the past week or so, and I think we should go out there, take advantage, and yes, you're going to have to pay a little bit more than you would have a month ago, but I think it's worth it, and I think that these players could make significant impacts during the fantasy basketball playoffs. All right, so now our first player that we are going to have to get up is a name that's definitely under the radar, but his production has been elite as of late, and this is going to be Clint Capela. So I know we definitely have not heard nearly enough discussion around Capela since he's gone to Atlanta. This is naturally just because it's the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, he's not playing alongside James Harden. So if the team Capela is playing for is not in the playoff hunt, is not on the way to try to make the Western Conference Finals, we know that Clint Capela is not really going to be in the conversation for anybody just on the talking head shows, just people having their own NBA podcast. But silently, Clint Capela has been, I don't want to say elite in Atlanta, but close to it, where he, over his past 5 games, yes, he's been averaging 20 points a game, which is fantastic, but more importantly, the way that he is doing this is absurd. He is averaging 70% from the field over his past 5, and that's just because his shot selection is, give me a shot at the rim, or I really don't want it. And when you're playing alongside Trae Young, we know that you are going to have so much space to operate under the basket, and at the same time, Trae Young, for someone who is so short, has incredible vision where he is consistently hitting Clint Capela with open looks. And not only is Clint Capela averaging 20 points and 70% from the field, more importantly, over the past 5 games, Capela has been a monster grabbing rebounds. I know these numbers are not sustainable. I do not want to say this is what we're expecting for the rest of the season. But right now, Capela is averaging close to 15 rebounds a game over the past 5, 2 blocks a game to go along with that. And I will say, yes, I know we just talked about he will regress. This is not going to be something we expect. But what we do expect from Capela is for him to just be the player prototype that is going to load up the box score with points, rebounds, and blocks. And if that field goal percentage stays this high, specifically for category leagues, I think that Clint Capela is someone that we should be targeting in trades just because he's not going to get the coverage. I mean, not as many people are looking at him right now, but if you're looking at the raw production, he's right up there in a fantasy basketball sense with so many other guys that are significantly more valuable. And Clint Capela, I know it seems like this man's 30 years old. I know it seems like we've been talking about him forever, but he's only 26. So I don't think you have to worry about him missing too many games. I don't think you have to worry about load management. Clint Capela, definitely someone that I'm wanting to go out there and just get a feel on what the price is going to be. All right, so now our next player is definitely going to cost you a good amount. I will say that right now, and I think he's probably going to cost you exactly what his production is, but I am looking at him going, you know what? I think he can continue to progress, and this is LaMelo Ball. Okay, so with LaMelo Ball, we all know that clearly he has been the most impressive rookie so far this season, but what a lot of people don't know is the splits of his recent performances. Now, if we go through, we look at his past 5 games like we just did with Clint Capela, he's averaging close to 17 points a game. He's averaging 35 minutes a game. And we know that's a big reason why we like those younger players. We like those younger players because they're going to be able to play back-to-backs. They're going to be able to have a very high just overall usage throughout the course of the season because you don't really have to worry about wear and tear. You don't have to worry about a high injury rate. And in those 35 minutes, LaMelo, with his size, is able to grab 7 rebounds a game and average 5.5 assists. Now, I know we talked about this last video, so I don't want to dive in depth on it, but he's also averaging 2.8 steals over the past 5. And now I know haters are going to come in. They're going to go, Mason, it's a 5-game sample. What the hell are you talking about here? Why does this matter? And I'll go, okay, well, instead of looking at the past 5 games, why don't we take a step back? Why don't we look at the past 10 games whenever LaMelo started to see an upgrade in the minutes in the rotation? And over the past 10, he's averaging 35 minutes a game. And over those past 10, you could argue it's more impressive. He's averaging 20 points a game, 6.5 rebounds, 6 assists. We all know how young he is. So I think LaMelo Ball is someone we should be expecting to continue to progress as the season goes on. And Gordon Hayward, yeah, the injury came back. That it's not that serious. We were worried about the hand injury for Gordon Hayward whenever it first occurred. But I think, if anything, Hayward being on the court actually helps LaMelo Ball, where, yeah, LaMelo Ball's not necessarily going to be putting up as many shots as he would if Hayward was going to miss time. But we understand that Hayward is fantastic at stretching the court, and whenever he's stretching the court, we know that LaMelo is going to get easier looks at the basket, and the assist rate should be higher. Okay, so now let's go to our next player that was actually on the last thumbnail, and I know everybody was losing their mind telling me, Mason, why aren't you talking about him? Why aren't you talking about him? And it's because I just thought about it, and I was like, let's throw him in the trade target video. And this is going to be Jarrett Allen. Okay, so Jarrett Allen, what we need to be looking at is we need to be looking at the games where Andre Drummond has not played. And I will say, yeah, I mean, you're not necessarily going to be sneaking anything by anyone here. Everybody understands Andre Drummond leaving this offense is going to significantly help Jarrett Allen, as he's going to see a bump up in minutes, and he's going to see a bump up in expected rebounds and overall field goal attempts. But I don't think people realize how solid Jarrett Allen has been. Not only is he extremely young, I mean, he's younger than I am. He was at the University of Texas the same time I was. I've seen him on campus twice. No need to brag or anything. But to go along with that, over the last 5 games where Andre Drummond has not played, Jarrett Allen, similar to Clint Capela, has been ridiculous with his shot selection, leading to an incredible field goal percentage of 66%. And I know people are going to be saying, well, how many shots a game is he taking? Why does that really matter? Where Jarrett Allen's taking more than you would assume. Jarrett Allen is averaging 18 points a game, and we know that you never have to worry about rebounds or blocks, as that's Jarrett Allen's specialty. And right now, he's averaging 13 rebounds, 2 blocks a game to go along with all of this. So Jarrett Allen, he's young. Drummond is really not going to come in and steal any minutes pretty much ever. So I think that we have to assume Jarrett Allen can continue to build his chemistry with the other players in Cleveland. I think we can say that he can probably see more minutes in the rotation. Right now, in the games where Drummond has missed, Jarrett Allen has only been playing 33 minutes a game. Now, I expect this number to go up. I expect Jarrett Allen to be a little bit closer to 35, which I know doesn't sound like a major difference. But if he's able to get up an extra shot a game, maybe he gets an extra rebound a game at the same time, I think that Jarrett Allen is just someone that we should be targeting. And there's really nothing else to say. All right, so now let's go to our last player that I swear to God we talk about him every single video, so I'm going to try to keep it short. But Shay Gilgeous-Alexander, 22 years old, absolute star for the Oklahoma City Thunder in my opinion. I know a lot of people are not going to want to agree with that, but if you look at what he is doing with this team first off is way exceeding expectations for the talent level that they have on the roster. And I think we can put that credit with Shay Gilgeous-Alexander, where he has taken his game to a completely new level. We know not only is he going to be a high rate scorer, but at the same time, he is coming out, he is playing decent enough defense. He's playing good defense, I would argue, averaging a block and a steal a game over the past 10. And we know that Shay is going to be one of those guards that isn't just going to score. He's not just going to get assists. He's also going to be grabbing boards to go along with that. And that makes a major difference whether or not you're playing in a category league or a points league. So Shay is not going to hurt you there. If anything, he's going to bring a ton of value in that category. Then we know Shay is also going to be a great player with what you can expect from his assists night in, night out, where he's averaging 6.5 assists over the past 10 games. And the points per game is up to about 25 over the past 10. So very similar to LaMelo Ball. Yeah, you're going to have to pay a decent amount. I mean, people are excited. But who is to say this 22-year-old can't continue to develop? I mean, he's playing on a team that doesn't have a ton of talent, so I don't think any of us should be that surprised if he is able to just take another leap up. All right, now, thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, if y'all did, go down there, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a ton, and I'll see y'all with the video tomorrow.